This is part 3 of the chapter Heredity and Evolution Standard 10th. So, today we'll be discussing something about traits. Now, what are traits? Traits are the characteristics or the specific features which are of two types. So, traits are basically of two types. One type is called inherited traits and the other is called acquired traits. So, what do you mean by inherited? Inherited means which are passed on from the parent to the offspring through the flow of genes, and it will bear all the basic features of that parent. Means what? If it is a cat, right, it will have that color, the skin, the two types of the four limbs and the tail and all that. So those are the inherited traits. Then there is something called as acquired traits. Acquired traits means these are the traits which are not passed on from generation to generation, but they are acquired during the lifetime, and once that individual dies, the trait also dies with him. It is not transmitted to the next generation because it is nothing to do with genes. So we can see what are the basic differences between acquired traits and inherited traits. Acquired traits are the characteristics which are developed during the lifetime of an individual. So what are those? For example, somebody has an injury, burning is there, accidents there, and then some dogs and cats and human beings, they can also learn new things, playing a piano, learning a few tricks and all this. Now these are acquired. Now it is not necessary that if one dog is being able to do some tricks, all the dogs in the world will be doing. So it has nothing to do with genes. It is just an acquired trait, and once the dog dies, it is limited. The son or the puppy of the dog will never get that traits because it is an acquired. It has nothing to do with genes. Then, as compared, what are inherited? Inherited traits are the traits which are transmitted through gene flow from the parent to the offspring. So what are these? They the color. If you talk of birds, it is beak. Then if you talk of humans, it is color of the eye, color of the ear, color of the hair, color of the skin, even dimples and freckles. All these are inherited traits. So we find some similarity in the parents and the child. Curly case will come. Long hair will come. Hazy colored eyes, honey colored eyes will come. So these are inherited traits. Then what is the second point? The second point is acquired traits are not passed on to the next generation because it has nothing to it has nothing to do with gene flow, whereas inherited traits are genetically determined and hence it is passed on to the next generation. The acquired traits are not in the DNA, whereas the inherited traits are in the DNA. So these are the basic differences between acquired traits and inherited traits. Now Charles Darwin is a great man who laid the foundation or the basis or the concept of evolution. What did he say? He had his famous Darwin's theory of evolution. What does it say? It says how life has evolved from a very primitive and simpler form to more complex form. Now how does it happen? It has happened because of natural selection. There was another scientist by the name of Haldane who suggested that life is full of organic matter. Now these organic matter consisting of proteins and all these things have developed basically from inorganic complex things, because light in the beginning of the world, there were only inorganic molecules which combined together and which started life. So the primitive organisms, they have first risen from to the result of chemical synthesis. There are some terms which we should know in this. So what is speciation? Speciation means it is the isolation of a new species within a species, but with the characteristic of reproductive isolation amongst one's interbreeding population. Now what does it mean? It means there is a population, a species, some of them have gone away, and after ages we see, even though they were originally from the species, two subspecies are developed which cannot interact, which cannot mate, and which cannot reproduce together. So if a population splits into two subpopulations which cannot reproduce among themselves, this will lead to the formation of two species which are non-interbreeding. So this is a term called Then there is another term called microevolution. Micro means a very small. Now in some cases there is an evolution which is related to a big species and small subspecies are formed. Subspecies, races, all are formed. Now here you will be having some common characteristics which are significant. They will also change the common characteristics of a particular species. So there is a very fine difference in them, and this has risen to a process called as microevolution. Then what does gene flow mean? Gene flow means just as flow of water, flow of air is there, it is the exchange of genetic material by interbreeding species, and they end up in one direction from the parents to the offsprings. Now this all happens between individuals within a population. So what does gene flow do? Now remember, gene flow means the mixing of the parents. So there is a variation also increases. So gene flow induces variation. Then what do variation? What do you mean by genetic drift? Genetic drift means an organism will have a specific characteristics. After some generations, there is a slight change from the original gene configuration. Now this change in the frequency of the alleles. What are alleles? They are the traits. There is some differentiation, there is some variation. So we find that the genes are drifting away from the, drifting means going away from the normal configuration of genes of that species. That is called a genetic drift. So now each new generation will differ from its parental generation due to alleles. Now this is what is called this is due to the inefficient copying or of the chromosomes during reproduction. Now this will lead to a genetic drift, and slowly in some cases the genetic drift can be so more that you can have a different subspecies also developing. So this is called difference in, so over generations, that is what we told you, genetic drift will slowly accumulate and it will lead to the formation of subpopulations. Then another term called alleles. So what are alleles? Now there is a series of alternative genes, alternative forms of the genes. For example, if it is color, if it is for a specific species, it can be red color or blue color. Now red and blue become the alleles. So there are two so which occupy the same position on the chromosome and control the same character. Now we should know that humans are called diploid organisms. Now what do you mean by diploid? Diploid organisms means humans have two alleles for each trait. For example, there is father may be having black eyes and mother may be having honey colored eyes. Now these are the two alleles of color. Now of which the only color which will be transmitted to the offspring will be the dominant allele. So the dominant gene or the dominant, suppose the mother's color is hazy colored eyes. Now if that gene is more dominant than the father's gene which is black colored eyes, so the offspring will get hazy colored eyes only. So this is what is called alleles, and all alleles they have two. So either this or long or short. If the mother is tall and the father is short, so in the offspring which will see which is the dominant characteristic, so that will be selected. Now according to Darwin, Charles Darwin gave a great concept called as natural selection. So what does natural selection mean? Natural selection means it is the evolution of new species and plants depending on the adaptation. So not all animals and not all plants they can adapt to one location. So whichever cannot adapt, for example camels in the Antarctic region. Now camels, if you are going and putting the camels there, they will not adapt there, so ultimately they will die. For example, polar bears you keep it in the Sahara region, they will not accept them. So what all these things will do, they will, the nature selects them, and automatically those who cannot adapt themselves will not live for time. and those who adapt, they will be transmitting the hereditary advantages through the gene flow. So if an animal or if a plant has adapted to some particular conditions, it will pass on all those genes which are favorable to that conditions to the offspring, and hence the species continues in that specific area. So this is what is called as natural selection. Then there is a term called this is what we had already discussed, speciation. For example, a huge population of bees are there, beetles are there in a mountain range, so they do not travel much, so they are just living there in that specific area, in localized area, they are breeding and they are living. one of them goes to another location by chance and he starts living there, and then he there are some different types of beetle there, so that beetle goes and proliferates there, and this, so what will happen, there will be ultimately two different types of species which then cannot come together and mate. Now when this takes place, this is called speciation. Now this can happen due to two reasons. That two reasons will be natural genetic drifting from the normal general genetic configuration, and second is natural selection. If a beetle goes to that place which is not naturally adaptable, not really suitable, it will not survive in this case. So these two groups then further, when they are very far off geographically and genetically also, they cannot reproduce with each other. A term called hierarchy. What is hierarchy? Hierarchy means it is what is that? How close or far away they are from each other. So higher up in the hierarchy means the similarities become, for example, birds. Now birds is one big group, but in the top you will find very small differences, but when you come down you will have basically they have feathers, they have limbs, they have beaks. So this determines their hierarchy. There is a term called characteristics. So what do characteristics means? Characteristics means the different behavioral pattern or the different features given to every living thing. For example, the forelimbs of human beings, it is a characteristic of human beings, whereas plants can perform photosynthesis is also becoming a characteristics. Then how are organisms classified? We had studied in 9th standard in diversity of living how the animals are being classified. So they are being classified on the basic characteristics, the body design, the functions, the habits, the ways of nutrition, and there are so many things. For example, they are on the presence and absence of nuclear band, eukaryotic and prokaryotic. This is at the basic level. After that, how many cells are there? Is it single cellular or multicellular? What is the mode of food procurement? What are the limbs? All these things. So this is what is called. So this is how the different levels of classification are done by scientists. So the first thing they will think is the basic is the cell. Then next they will choose eukaryotes or prokaryotes. Next will be unicellular or multicellular. Next will be, are they autotrophs or heterotrophs? Next is, do they have an endo or an exoskeleton? So all these things will help us to classify organisms on different levels. Thank you.